there, and this is a manual on If I Can, You Can, the real estate investing channel where if I can do it, you can do it. Now, today, the topic I'll be going over is 7 myths in real estate that people commonly believe. Now, if you like this channel and you like what you see, please like or subscribe. If you have any comments or want to see me do more of this or expand on anything, please leave it in the comments below. It really helps the channel. And with that, let's get into it. All right, and let's get started with myth number 1, and that's that flipping is an easy and quick way to make money. Now, there's certain ways it can be, but there's a lot of ways it can really burn you. Now, I know friends of mine that looked at a property and they said, hey, this house is $20,000 underneath all these other houses that are in a neighborhood. This would be perfect. I can buy it and then I can sell it immediately after some renovations and make a ton of money. Well, you gotta look into it. Now, commonly what real estate investors want to look for is you take the ARV, which is the average repair value or after repair value for a property, which is looking at the comps of the comparables of the other houses in a neighborhood that have sold for that much, and times that by 70% or 0.7, and then you minus your renovation values. Now, typically that will give you the money you need to actually make a profit on whatever you're selling. Now, is this perfect math? No, but I've gone through the long way of doing the long math and it comes out pretty close to that number. Now, let's say you did find that house that was $20,000 underneath all the other comparable homes in the neighborhood. Now, let's say it's $200,000 is what all the houses are going for, and you found one for $180,000. Well, you're gonna have fees. You're gonna have taxes you're gonna have in there. You're gonna have to pay your sellers and your real estate agents. That's 6% in itself. Can differ, I get that. But on average, it's probably like 10 to 12% at least just to sell your house. Now, for $180,000, you're talking about $18,000 just in those fees alone, not including if you need renovations, not including things like holding costs, which is the price it costs, the cost it is to keep the mortgage going, to keep the lights on, the utilities going through the project. All these things will add up, and you can quickly see how having maybe a $20,000 possibility there goes away just like that. So I can go a little bit deeper into that. If you want to see a video, leave me a comment, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. So number 2, that you need to be a real estate expert in order to invest in real estate successfully. Not at all. I knew next to nothing. I told people this all the time. What ended up happening is COVID hit and the only way to go outside was to exercise. I got on my bike and you know what? I can only listen to selling music over and over again. So I started listening to audiobooks. I was listening to dozens of audiobooks about real estate investing and renovations and tax law and you name it, I listened to it. I got onto YouTube, I saw it all. And just in a short time frame, I was able to educate myself enough to put me in a good position of buying a home. And then I went through the whole process of purchasing it, renovating it, and bringing it up to a place where I have a ton of equity into it, and I'm still making a profit and making a cash flow. Now, can everyone do that? I don't know if you have all the time to go riding your bike, and I'm sure there's some things that you get into in your life, but there are ways to do this. And I have to say, overall, you can do it. You don't need to be an expert to be successful. All you need to do is arm yourself with some knowledge. Number 3 is paying off your mortgage early always helps with investing. Absolutely not. I dealt with this. I tried to look into it more. It can be beneficial, but it's not always the play you want to make. Because you got to think of it this way. People think that if I have $1,500 a month coming in for my rent and my mortgage is only $750, well, I can double the amount of money I bring in if I pay it off. Well, no, you're still gonna have to pay for taxes. You don't necessarily have to pay for insurance, but I've seen some people that had their houses burned down without insurance on their homes, and that's not a good play either. But you're not gonna have a complete slate where there's no mortgage and nothing you have to pay. Taxes is still gonna have to be paid, and you're still gonna have something taken off of that. At the same time, if you're trying to grow your business, you want to use that equity and leverage it to the next deal. That's the best way to do it. But if you have to wait to pay off this mortgage and you pay it off in 20 years before you move on to your next property, $1,500 a month isn't going to be really retiring anybody. So there's certain times to do it and there's certain times not to do it. So it's not necessarily the go-to for everything. Now, number 4, that real estate investing can be just a set it and forget it. And absolutely not. I mean, there are certain ways you can set it up to minimize what you do, but you're going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. Now, you have to determine how much you want to be involved and set up your SOPs and set up your business in such a way that you can either be more active or less active. Now, I constantly have arguments with one of my friends who actually was my mentor a little bit, and he believes that there's no way to be passive in real estate. And in a certain way, he's right. But he's also doing his own property management. He's started a property management company with some other people. So he has that going, and that's definitely something you're gonna have to do more and more and get involved in. But ultimately, even if I have a property manager, which we do have a property management company, we have to make the decision ultimately. Now, it's how much do I want to do? If I'm doing Airbnb and I'm self-managing that, I'm going to be getting calls for check-ins, check-outs, calling to repair people. I'm going to be calling cleaners come in. I'm going to have to find people to sub for those cleaners because they called out and they couldn't make it. It is going to be night and day sometimes, especially if I'm self-managing. But if I set up the systems where I have property managers and I work up to, finding an asset manager, who knows? Maybe I can set myself up to have less and less roles and having more and more things automated. But at some point, you do have to be involved with decision making overall because these are your assets. But there's always a way to make it a little bit easier for yourself if you're willing to do a little bit more work up front. Number 5, only buy in good neighborhoods. Now, it's really nice because you can see that the community is thriving, you're getting a lot of money that's coming in, you can charge a little bit more, but guess what? The houses are worth more too, so the barrier to entry is a lot higher because you have to pay more for the houses. Now, with that, you have to look toward the other side. Now, there's different categories for neighborhood. It goes A, B, and C, and D. I can go into that if you want me to, just let me know. But if you buy a high-end A neighborhood, your entry point's $1 million for a house, then you have to find someone who's going to rent that out. You're going to have a very narrow window of people that want to rent that out. Where you can look at a B neighborhood or even a C neighborhood, and you can find a lot more renters for that, and it's way more manageable for more people. So you broaden your horizons, you have a bigger pool to pull from. One of the properties I purchased is in a C-class neighborhood, but is actually being revitalized. There's new businesses starting up, and you can see where it's gonna go and how much better it's getting. So you can always make a little bit more money if you get right ahead of something that's becoming redeveloped. So keep that in mind when you look at these things. It's not always the perfect neighborhood at all times. Sometimes you have to build into something that's turning into something nice. Now, number 6, location is the only thing that matters. While it is great, we gotta keep in mind that location may make it unaffordable, or there may be other things that you don't see. Let's take, for example, buying on a beach. I lived down in Florida for a little bit, and I'll tell you what, everything rusted out like that. And you know what? Right next to the beach, you could have a lot of deferred maintenance on a building, and you know what? Great location, people want to be there, but you're stepping into a money pit. So you gotta look at that, and those things can add up. And heck, right now, Florida's having a lot of trouble because things are uninsurable. So location may not be the best thing for what you're looking for. Look for something that has solid bones, doesn't have major problems with the house, and then see if it matches where everything else aligns, and you can set up your business plan from there. But that is a key factor, but not the only driving factor of your decision-making process when buying investment properties. Now, number 7, you need a lot of money to buy investment properties. I'm not gonna lie, it helps a lot. I mean, I'd be doing a whole lot more if I had a ton of money to throw at something and could be playing the game on easy mode. But you don't necessarily need that. Let's take me, for example. I ended up using the VA loan. Now, that was 0 down, and all I had to do was put in some money here and there, renovate the place, put some closing costs money down, and it was a very low barrier to entry, and I didn't need a whole lot of money up front, and I was able to take that and turn it into Airbnb eventually. And you can also do that with a single family house. If you go in with an FHA loan or some other loan product that offers a 3.5% down or 5% down, you may be able to put down a fraction of what you really need compared to a investment property where you might need 20-25% down. And now you're into home ownership, gaining appreciation, getting all the benefits that come into that. But then later on, maybe a year later, you're able to buy another one and rent out your previous property. I didn't put a whole lot of money down up front, but you're able to start the game. And even for this one, there's tricks to go around to getting your closing costs covered. The house I'm sitting in now, we ended up offering $15,000 over because we knew it was under the value of the average value of the homes around here in the comps, and we asked for that money back at closing. Now you can't put that towards a down payment, but we had almost all the closing costs paid for because of how we negotiated the product. We still had to come down with the 5%, but it was substantially less. So that's my list of the 7 myths that people believe about real estate. Now, if you like this content, like I said, please like and subscribe. Leave me comments of what you want to hear. I'm more than happy to make more content about anything you're interested in. Well, that's all I have for right now. See you in the next one.